Alas, the poor GoBots, we barely knew you. I mean, this was a toy line that came out around the same time as Transformers. As Fable has it, they came out about a month or so before Transformers. It's the same thing as Transformers in that they took, a Japanese toy line and slapped a new label on it for America. GoBots was Robo in Japan, and Transformers was a series of different things, one of which was Diaclone. And so Hasbro took Transformers and Tonka took the GoBots. GoBots were smaller. They were very easy to transform and didn't look very impressive. And all of the strange marketing behind it with the really basic names and stuff, like Rotor and whatever, didn't really help either. But, the cartoon was better than it really should have been. It wasn't as good as Transformers. And it lived out a life in the 80s. What I'm going to do here is go through some of the catalog pages of the time to see what the GoBots were all about, really in their toy form. Some of this stuff is really cool. So let's go through some of this. So here are the GoBots in all their glory. Number 2 here is Zod. So Zod was a big beast, and in the cartoon, I remember he was very feral. Everyone was afraid of this beast. They made another one here, number 3 here, and we'll go through the names and stuff. Also, this thing in the center here is the bad guy's base. That was in the cartoon as well. And you see right next to it, to the far left here, is a truck that turns into a robot, and it's not Optimus, but it is a red truck with a flat face. The enemy GoBots of Gobotron have decided they want a planet of their own. Guess what planet they're after? Like, of course, Earth. With GoBot enemy headquarters on Earth, the friendly GoBots' job to stop them is even harder. They don't have the names Renegades and Protectors here. There's friendlies and all that stuff. But yeah, these playsets were actually fairly impressive, and that was one advantage the GoBots had, that they were small enough you could make playsets and accessories for. On the left here, you see a space shuttle. That's Spay-C, and that looks like a Super GoBot. So the Super GoBots were a bigger, sort of like 6-inch variant of the GoBots. And they reproduced 3 of the regular GoBots as Super GoBots. It was Spay-C, Leader 1, leader of the good GoBots, and Cykill, leader of the bad GoBots, and Vamp, I think, was another one. The rest of the guys were not like a reproduced version of a smaller GoBot. So you see here, 2, the enemy robot monster Zod. When his evilness gets out of hand, deactivate him by putting the laser lance included in his vulnerable spot. So you see here Zod. If you were to stand him upright, there's a red thing, like a red button, and you can like press it with like a plastic rod, like a laser lance that one of the GoBots can attach to their arm, and you can pretend that it's defeating Zod. Here's a neat little idea, because Zod be motorized and run around wild and stuff, and one of your other GoBots can actually defeat it with that red plastic rod. 3 is Scales. That's the other Zod. Pops up for a surprise attack. Watch out for his teeth. So here's Scales. It's a like a racing car, and it turns into a monster. Pretty neat. And I love these toys because they're made to be toys. They're not made to be collectibles or anything. Watch out for Psycho. So that's number 4 here to the left. I had Psycho. The thing about Psycho is that he, or I'm assuming it's a he, Psycho would just basically shatter in your hands. Like, it was very fragile. 6 is Warpath, helps the evil leader Cykill. These 2 look like Super GoBots, bigger and more intricate than regular GoBots. 5 is Cykill. I have Cykill now. I didn't have him as a kid. He's great. Because he's die-cast metal, mostly, the arms are plastic. Cykill, the fierce leader of the enemy GoBots, glides around in his motorcycle form, collecting data for his takeover of Earth. And you notice the prices here, $8.99 or so. That's in $1984. So nowadays it would be about maybe $25. Robot carrying case. So here's a GoBots carrying case. And here's a little note. Now, in 80s toy catalogs, there used to be notes encouraging parents to buy toys for their kids with some sort of factoid. And this one reads, early school-age children enjoy stimulated games of make-believe and play acting. Action figures offer a degree of realism that is very appealing as children develop their imaginative worlds. See more about Toys and Kids following the index of this catalog. So there you go. Hopefully a parent will buy into that. Here you have on the right, Leader 1. That's a Super GoBot. I have him now. I had the regular Leader 1, and he was really cool. Spay-C. Spay-C was a woman in GoBots. The GoBots cartoon had a whole lore to it that was a lot different than Transformers and kind of made more sense, if I'm being perfectly honest, because at least you had a solid origin for the GoBots. They were warring humans, and they transferred their brains to these robots, and they could transform for better tactical advantage and stuff. And so the GoBots actually had human brains. They established that in a few episodes of GoBots. So that's why there's males and females. The Spay-C transformation here doesn't look right. And that that happened every so often in catalogs. The people posing these things didn't really know how the toys worked. But there you go. And there's Zeemon, which is 10. This is the red car. Turns into a robot, and there's no real head for this guy. It's just like basically the windshield. Puzzler was it's one of these dumb decisions that Tonka made. They didn't call him anything cool. It's just Puzzler because it's a puzzle to make him or something, I guess. And that's one of the downfalls of the GoBots figures. They just weren't cool enough. They needed an extra oomph from the marketing people. The Puzzler, as 11 reads, the Puzzler set turns into 6 separate GoBots when you maneuver the parts. That's 6 times the fun with one toy. This is $26.99, so probably about $50 to $65 nowadays. Friendly Power Warrior set, that's number 12. It looks awesome. It's basically a bunch of power suits that you can put the GoBots into and then combine into this thing. It's a neat idea. And an advantage that the GoBots had because they're so small, you could make these accessories for them. The Friendly Power Warrior set fuses the power of 4 connecting power suits and the power suit spaceship into one awesome Power Warrior. Holds 5 GoBots. Number 13 is this big play set. A lot of friends of mine had this thing. It had battle alarm, so sound, a working elevator, revolving head with LCD eyes, and enemy GoBot detectors. Doubles as a storage case, of course, for up to 12 GoBots, not included, of course. This thing is $22.99. So, I mean, it's cheaper than, the Friendly Power Warrior set and the Puzzler. And down below, you got some cat pistols that are GoBots. These look like some sort of different line from Japan molded into the GoBot line. But they look colorful and cool. There's binoculars there. And number 18, let's take a look at him. 18 is the GoBot Stacks. Transport changes from robot to cab truck. Carries 6 GoBots in vehicle form. It's a poor man's Optimus Prime. It doesn't even have a face. Here's another catalog page, and this one reads, "Out of the future and into your dreams, ordinary-looking objects that you change into robots." And here's Cykill, in a bunch of different forms. He looks awesome. He's just very fragile, I found. Here's a command center, with a bunch of different like bad guys in it for some reason, but it's the good guy base. It's in dog form to the far left there. Here's a bunch of different cars, which are basically the same toy but recolored. There are some different designs for the windshield, etc. And Zod is number 5 there. Zod, of course, was the big creature from GoBots. And that's it for GoBots. Did you have any of these? What do you think of this line? It's highly collectible today, and it's got a lot of admiration to it as well. But it could never defeat the Transformers in the 80s. I hope you had fun taking this trip with me down memory lane. Till next time, take care.